So 2025 hit, and nothing's going to change unless we make the mandatory changes. And that is our income and our expenses, focusing on our wants and our needs. My name is Natalie Walters, the founder of Reset with Nat, and I'm all about the transformation. Transformation could start with just a mindset shift. Everyone is in a different place. Everybody's family dynamic is different. Some people have one child, some people have two children, some people have multiple children. As single parents, you have couples, but at the same time, you know what? We all have responsibilities. Those who don't have responsibilities for children, they may also have responsibilities for aging parents. Some people are also looking after some type of family member that they're caring for. That responsibility could be very burdening, but at the same time, it is rewarding. The reward of being able to help and support someone, but then the opportunity to also look at, if this is an experience that person's going through and I have not reached that place, how can I work towards preventing anything like this happening to me? Or if it does to happen to me, how can I make sure that I'm prepared financially to take care of these responsibilities? Which means, look, I know something is not going right, and I need to stop, and I need to pay attention to what that is. A lot of the times we are caught up just living, doing, and living in a cycle of just moving and just doing and just being present for everybody. But at the same time, we know we're not feeling our best. We're not showing up as our best selves. And what that requires is a stop, a reset. So in today's discussion, I want to talk about the importance of reevaluating our financial landscape. When it comes to personal finance, it's not a very comfortable conversation for many, especially in a day and age where economy is so high, incomes are not rising, people are losing jobs. People have responsibilities when they're within their homes. Children are growing, and as they grow, they have different needs. Even when kids are young, they have different needs. And sometimes it will leave a person feeling inadequate. Not only that, there's a sandwich generation. You're there taking care of yourself and your family, but then guess what? There come your parents, the people who you have always regarded as a support system, now needing you to support them. And let me tell you, it gets very, very hard. It's also a learning opportunity for us to say, listen, I'm in my 40s, I'm moving up in age, and this cycle is only going to repeat itself unless I stop, and I start to reevaluate what's going on in my life. So the first part of the reset is all about refocusing. Now, if you are feeling overwhelmed with your finances right now, maybe you are making a good income, but what's happening is, you know what, before you never used to check the way you spent. You were able to just spend and do, but then inflation and everything has hit and more responsibilities have been put on you. The money that you had that looked good is not looking the same. You cannot think about another stream of income. Your income is not that your employer is not giving you an increase in pay. Listen, all of that happens. Well, then you know what? You're going to have to scale back and refocus. And I'm in the same position myself. This year, I am going to be focusing on bringing a very refined look at what it is that I desire to have on a monthly basis that are mandatory within my life. And then what are the things that I want to have? So wants versus needs. Now, when it comes down to wants and needs, it all depends on you and what you like to do within your household. There are the essentials. Obviously, there is the rent or the housing. If you are a homeowner, there's the utilities, there is food. Sometimes it's mandatory. I have to have certain extracurricular activities for my children. When it comes to our tech, There's certain devices, or there's certain platforms, or there's certain subscriptions that I need. Those are things that if you don't have them, then it changes the way that you're able to function in your life, because it actually supports what you are doing. But if these are things that are filler, they're fluff, you're not tending to them on a regular basis, such as other subscriptions, which is, I just like it, I want to have it available and I'm paying for it. Or, I go out for dinner, even though I know I have food in the fridge, but you know what, I'm so busy and I'm not cooking, because I'm tired, or whatever the case is, or, I just don't feel like it today. These are things and moments that we need to sit down and take a inventory and say, you know what? Yeah, I need to do an analysis of how I was operating. For myself, the last year, I recognized that entrepreneurship has been a journey, full-time, very challenging. Very challenging. Working part-time and then being an entrepreneur, it wasn't for me. I had to decide, listen, what you need to do is work full-time and be an entrepreneur part-time, until you figure out all of the roots of how to manage a business, how to change certain habits and disciplines in order to run a business, the things that you need to learn in order to grow in business. Is this a business that you really want to be in? How long? And what's your end goal with the business that you have? There's a lot of different things that I recognize. You know what? And at the same time, I have to bring money into my household, because what was happening is the decline in revenue. When revenue is declining, that means whatever needs to go out is not available. And then at the same time, you have dependents who rely on you. You have your children. You may recognize that your parents may need your support. And if you can't, it doesn't feel nice to know that you can't help. I have come up with an opportunity to help myself, which was, I built a worksheet, and it's called Stacks and Splurges. Now, what Stacks and Splurges allows you to do is it allows you to analyze your budget. And that's a word that a lot of people do not necessarily like, but at the same time, it is important. People who run businesses and grow and scale businesses and become rich have budgets. Budgeting does not mean that you are not able to do certain things. It just allows you to see what can you do, how can you do it, whilst making everything that you want work, and then implementing everything that you need work, whilst implementing the things that you want over time. So sometimes it allows you to recognize, okay, this is working, that's working, great. Ooh, that's working a little too often. I'm doing that. I'm spending there way too often. I need to scale back. And scaling back doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means modify. If you're doing something that is, okay, so I love coffee. I'm a double espresso person. So I recognized that I was drinking double espresso 2 times a day at one point. And that 2 times a day was not just because, why was I drinking it twice a day? I was drinking it twice a day because 1, I wasn't eating properly. 2, I wasn't sleeping properly. 3, I had a lot going on. 4, I wasn't being responsible. I gained a lot of weight, spending unnecessary money. This company is gaining off of me. And whatever responsibilities that I should have been putting that money towards was not getting the actual money. And that happens many times over. It happens many times over to many people in different ways. It could happen with one franchise. It could be just a coffee. And then there could be another habit that's somewhere else. Subscriptions, buying this, buying that, or overspending on groceries. You have the groceries, they're rotting in the fridge, but then you're still eating out. Sometimes we have to wonder, why is this happening? And until we sit down and refocus and take inventory to whatever it is, it's going to continue happening. So let's not make changes just for today. Make changes that will be habitual. Make changes that are beneficial and they are good role modeling skills for your children to observe. They're seeing you do better because anything that we do, they pick up. They pick up. And that's something that I think about. Okay, I have to be mindful because if anything, he's going to look at it and see, okay, well, she always has coffee and she always has, or we always have this and we always have that. So life's good. When you don't tell your children no, when you always try to provide and make it seem like everything's okay. So a lot of different transactions are happening on your accounts. That's why sometimes, it's overcompensating for that in the background. It's not right, right? There's opportunity for us to really put that money into different areas of our lives where other goals could be met, such as, for myself, it's looking at, how many years are you away from really wanting to retire? How much money do you need in order to retire? How close are you to having that income? And if you don't start putting that money away now, what's going to happen? How long do you have to work? Or are you going to be a dependent on your child? Is that fair? You're aware? Make the changes. Also, is there anything that I can do to support? You know what? I'm not doing anything that's above and beyond. You know what? I'm just not making enough money. That's what a budget helps you recognize. I'm not doing the most. I'm actually, you know what? I pay my mortgage. I pay my rent. I pay my utilities. I'm paying my phone bill. I'm paying for essentials and I'm having a little coffee. Okay, so I have a daily coffee. I'm not like going here, doing this, doing that. So there is nothing wrong with that, with what I'm doing. Well, then that means, you know what? If it's that tight, maybe looking for another opportunity to gain extra income, whether that's leaving the position you're in and looking for a promotion, or leaving the position or the company that you're in and looking for another opportunity elsewhere. Or if you have a desire on your heart to explore entrepreneurship, really starting to research and refocus on what that would look like. How can I start to earn income off of whatever this idea that I have is, and that how am I going to support doing this thing whilst working the job that I have and then growing it on the side to bring in extra money to support the needs within my household. That's what budgeting allows you to do. It allows you to see, am I overdoing it, or do I just need to do a little bit more or modify what I'm doing? Sometimes you're doing too much, sometimes you're not doing enough. And not doing enough doesn't mean that you're actually physically not doing enough. Maybe it means that you're stuck in a comfort zone and you are not taking the steps to move forward somewhere else. And that could be also for another reason. And if it's because of discomfort, of being in a new position, meeting new people, feeling that, okay, this is a certain security that I have, and if I go this way, this will happen. Listen to me. One thing about like a life that I believe is that we need to take chances. And some of the chances that I've taken, they've really set me back. But at the same time, I know that I could say to myself, I took a chance, and whatever the outcome is, I know I tried it. If it didn't work, I also know where I've been. So if I need to go back into that position, or if I need to look to go, if instead of even going back, if I want to try and go further, I'm able to do that because I know that I've already reached a certain point. So if me going to try something else didn't work, well, you know what? I'll go right back here. And if I don't want to go back here, what's next? What next can I do to be able to help myself get to a better place? It's not easy. It isn't easy. None of this is easy. But the thing is, once you have life, you have a great mental capacity to be able to learn, implement, try, meet people, ask questions, do research. You never know how beautiful things are unless you actually make the try. So stacks and splurges is where I would start budgeting. Sit down and look at what's happening, with your finance. It's that you are spending too much and just doing the most. You're making a great income. You're comfortable with what you're making, but you recognize that you're overspending and you're focusing on one area of lifestyle more than other responsibilities than you should? Or is it that, you know what, I need to gain more income because there's more life that I want to live? If you are interested in getting a download of this budgeting worksheet, it is a preliminary setup to actually doing a formal budget. You can actually download it on my website for free, www.resetwithnat.com. You scroll down and you just put in your name, your email, and then you'll be able to download the PDF version. You're able to type in on this worksheet. It's going to say you're going to analyze your budget with your wants and needs check, and you're going to put in whatever expense it is. You're going to put in if the date that it's happening, and then is it the amount? Sorry, the amount. You're going to put in, is it a want or a need? What you're going to really focus on, is it a want? If this is something that is not something that you need, but you're seeing it come up in your statement on a regular basis, the calculation at the bottom will let you know, especially in a 1 month period, how much are you spending in that particular area that you know that you can cut back on. And when you see that number, you can also recognize, oh, that's money that I can use to put towards my investing for retirement. That's money that I can use to put my kid in this activity. That's money that I can use to start this business idea on, or pay for a future. I have a business that I started. I need this particular plan. Okay, that's money that I can put towards that. Or this money, it can just be money that, listen, I need to buy some new clothes, so I can put that money away and let that build. Stacks and Splurges. It's a worksheet available to you as a free download. So if you are interested in getting your copy, visit www.resetwithnat.com. Thanks for watching, and with everything you do, have faith, stay focused, and always follow through. Blessings.